After the early departure from the summit by U.S. President Donald Trump last night, the G7 leaders today focused on global security, and we're joined by a guest who is all too familiar with the consequences of war. Ukraine is not a member of the group of 7 countries, but its president has become a regular guest at the group summits, arriving in Alberta today for his 3rd G7 appearance. Volodymyr Zelensky is also an expensive date, seeking more financial and military support from G7 members for his country's war against Russia. Prime Minister Mark Carney promising more aid from Canada, $2 billion for drones, ammunition, and armored vehicles.
We'll be working with our European and other allies for their contributions to provide the support. And to be absolutely clear, the support will be unwavering until we get a just peace for Ukraine and Ukrainian people.
Canada will also extend the $2.3 billion loan drawn on frozen Russian financial assets to help rebuild Ukraine's shattered infrastructure on top of new economic sanctions.
It's important for our soldiers to be strong at the battlefield, to stay strong until Russia will be ready for the peace negotiations. We are ready for the peace negotiations.
But Zelensky won't be meeting in Alberta with a key player in those potential talks. U.S. President Donald Trump left the summit suddenly last night to deal with the new war between Israel and Iran. Another global conflict up for discussion as Zelensky joined the G7 leaders table, taking over Trump's seat next to Carney. Before Trump's departure, the U.S. signed on to a statement from G7 leaders asserting Israel's right to defend itself and warning that Iran must not develop nuclear weapons. The new money for Ukraine will help Carney's government meet its NATO spending target. News welcomed by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte.
The fact that you decided to bring Canada to the 2% spending when it comes to NATO this year is really fantastic.
As the summit wrapped up, Carney was headed to a key final one-on-one meeting with India's Prime Minister. Narendra Modi welcomed at the G7 despite a diplomatic rift between Canada and India over his government's alleged involvement in the 2023 killing of a Sikh activist in British Columbia. On the day Mark Carney met with the Indian Prime Minister, the G7 put out a written statement summarizing their agreement to fight what they call transnational repression, all vowing to stop threats, intimidation, and even violence by foreign states, which it notes is often aimed at diaspora groups. That's pretty clearly a message directed at Narendra Modi. Glen McGregor, City News, Banff, Alberta.